up, everybody, and welcome to the Casual Wrestling Community YouTube channel. You are now tuned into the Raw Takes Weekly Monday Night Raw recap show. I am your host, the Notorious Nerdy D, and joining me tonight, working the mics and cameras, the love of my life, Miss Level Up, Lauren.
What's up, y'all?
Whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast network, we have an amazing show for you tonight. Make sure to stop right now and hit the like button, leave a comment, or hit whatever button it is you're listening or watching on that makes us trend upward. Right off the bat, RKBro is no more. So according to Riddle this past week on Monday Night Raw, RKBro is done for the foreseeable future. That was a rather abrupt way to end the team. I feel like they had all the momentum in the world, and I understand that we unified the tag team titles and we put them onto the Usos, but it just feels like that team needed a more proper send-off than just saying Randy Orton hurt his back. And I get what we're building to here. I do understand the bigger picture. But the first question you have to ask is this really the last we'll ever see of RKBro? I don't think so. The bigger picture is this is the buildup for Roman Reigns versus Riddle after Hell in the Cell. So going into Hell in the Cell, we'll just have some mismatch and we'll get a couple other main events. Roman's not going to be there, but we're building towards Riddle getting his big moment against Roman Reigns. And then after that, I think that after Riddle gets beat by Roman Reigns, we're building to the triumphant return of Randy Orton, where Randy Orton will go one-on-one with Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And then possibly after that, they reunite back together as RK-Bro at Clash of the Castle and maybe restart. I don't know. At that point, will they be so forgotten as a team that they just keep them as two singles competitors? They work as singles competitors. Riddle's over. The second question I had about this, though, is I see a lot of people online talking about the end of the brand split, which I do think it's a quasi into the brand split. I think that main stars are going to cross back and forth, but I think that for the most part, there's going to be mainstays on each show that kind of travel with a brand. But the question I had was, are we under the belief that these belts can't be deunified? That all of these belts, that the tag team belts, that the world heavyweight title belts, every time I say like Cody could win this belt, people go, well, he can't win it because they're unified. But I'm under the belief that like this doesn't have to be a permanent thing. That right now the Usos and Roman Reigns, they just have both sets of belts. It's not like they're permanent until WWE takes those belts and combines them to represent both brands. They give the Usos one new tag team title that represents a unified tag team, and they give Roman one new title that represents a unified world champion. I'm under the belief that those can be defended separately. And maybe I'm wrong, but I still believe, like, I don't know that it's still confusing to me how this is going to work with two different television networks and one set of titles. WWE can maybe make it work. I don't know. The next question you have to ask yourself in this whole situation is Riddle even believable as a world champion? I think that he proved on Monday night that he can hang with the big boys, right? He looked good in the ring. He looked good on the microphone. He cut kind of an emotional promo that got the crowd behind him. The crowd does seem to be behind him. Typically when guys get this opportunity, because we're all under the assumption, right, that Riddle's not going to beat Roman Reigns. That's not happening. So I look at these opportunities as kind of trial runs for somebody to see if they have what it takes to fit into that main event picture. A couple months ago, Montez Ford kind of got one of these with Roman Reigns, and he looked like he fit in. He looked like he belonged. And I think Riddle's gonna step up and he's gonna knock the ball out the park, and he's gonna look like he fits in, which will give WWE the confidence moving forward to put him in a position to be a world champion. But there's like, let's not kid ourselves. There's a 0% chance that he beats Roman Reigns. My other question I had was when we talk about Riddle and we talk about Randy Orton, something kind of clicked in my brain. Is this situation that they've been put into being being put into a storyline where they're basically in a position to put over Roman Reigns? They're going to build up the lore of Roman Reigns. Is this not almost exactly the same story that WWE was asking Naomi and Sasha Banks to do? Weren't they just asking them to not even drop their belts? They didn't even ask Naomi and Sasha to drop their belts. They just asked them to go to each individual show, one with Bianca Belair, one with Ronda Rousey, and put the champions over. And that's what they got pissed off and took their ball and went home about. I mean, your job is essentially to build up the champion of your show. I'm still confused on that whole situation. They were just asked to fight the world champions. They were asked basically to be in the main event of SmackDown and the main event of Raw, possibly a pay-per-view. And it feels like you have to make those opportunities work for yourself. Look at Riddle. You don't see him bitching and complaining because last minute they decide to unify the tag team titles, take the tag team titles away from him and Randy. They break him and Randy apart. But all of a sudden he's given this opportunity to get into the ring with Roman Reigns. Like, that's a big opportunity. I don't know when Sasha Banks thought that she got bigger than title opportunities. I don't know. I don't think it gets much bigger than that. Even if you're a tag team champion, even if you don't want to devalue the tag team championship, there's a million girls who would want to take her place and be in that, have that opportunity to get in the ring with Bianca Belair, have the opportunity to get into the ring with Ronda Rousey and fight for a world title. It doesn't make sense. These situations seem very parallel to me, and you get someone like Riddle who seems to be taking the opportunity, and he's going to take the ball and he's going to fucking run with it, and he's going to build his stock up so high. And then you get someone like Sasha Banks, who I believe she just thinks she's above working the script, what she's told to do. And now that Sasha and Naomi are literally being erased from WWE with seemingly no plan to bring them back, we're getting this women's tag team title. And sadly, like, if I'm being real honest at this point in time, I think this is more exciting than a title run of Naomi and Sasha Banks. Like, and that's not Naomi and Sasha Banks' fault. That's WWE's fault. There's no teams lined up to make the tag team belts look respectable. So let's build some teams. Let's have a tag team tournament. And just like I predicted last week, I called this last week when I said, let's bring up some NXT girls. Let's make this a big hoorah. Let's not take the two tag teams we have in WWE. Let's bring them up. And it's been rumored, it's been reported that this is going to be a tournament that includes NXT competitors in it. It's great exposure for NXT. It's great exposure. What a better way to promote NXT than to bring up, and some of those girls on NXT, they look like they're ready to go. So what a better way than to put them in the ring with WWE stars. Great exposure. It's a breath of fresh air for WWE's women's tag team division. I mean, at this point, when we're just fucking unifying all the belts, let's unify the NXT tag team belts with the WWE women's tag team belts, and let's have that belt travel back and forth. Let's get some WWE stars on NXT. Let's get some NXT stars on WWE. And I know last week I said I liked the fact that the lore didn't really carry over, and I still like that. But if you guys want the lore to carry over, we're gonna have to start taking these NXT people and have Braun Breaker appear on WWE every so often. And when I say WWE, I mean SmackDown and Raw. Have them appear on that. I mean, I'm 100% behind the idea that Toxic Attraction should win this tag team title belt and have both sets of belts. I think that's the right way to go with this. Overall, I think Sasha Banks just overestimated her position in the company and what she means to the WWE. And I think at the end of the day, like, the machine just keeps moving forward, and I think Sasha Banks gets left behind. All right, so let's jump into, we have a quick break here. We'll let Jay Knows Wrestling tell us about the AEW pay-per-view that's coming up here this weekend. And after that, I'll get into my Raw takes.
Hey, it's your boy Raphael from Jay Knows Wrestling. It's Memorial Day weekend, and what better way to memorialize professional wrestling by showcasing the very thing that is killing it when AEW puts on their version of WrestleMania with Double or Nothing. And just like WrestleMania, we have 137 matches, but AEW is gonna do them all in one night. So I'm just going to let the match cards just flash next to me, because I'm sure you could care less about a lot of these matches. And I'm just going to go over the ones that you probably actually do care about. And the first one up, MJF versus Wardlow. Everybody thinks Wardlow's going to win this match because of all the abuse he's taken from MJF. Plus, MJF said if Wardlow cannot beat him, Wardlow cannot work for AEW. I believe that kind of telegraphs Wardlow's losing, because Ring of Honor needs a big star. What a better way to start a new company with a guy like Wardlow going on a Goldberg-esque run. Then down the line, MJF gets very jealous of that and jumps over to Ring of Honor and asks Wardlow, hey, I know you want to work for AEW. If you can beat me, I will let you go there. But I'm tired of you making a name for yourself here. You're trying to say that you're better than me. All that. The story tells itself. I mean, let's be honest, though. It's AEW. We know Wardlow's winning. Also, the Hardy Boys are taking on the Young Bucks. And just like all these matches here, if you don't watch AEW Dark, AEW Dark Elevation, or the 18 million vlogs that AEW stars have, you have no idea why this match is a big deal. Some people call this match a dream match. Thing is, this match happened 5 years ago when the Hardy Boys still could somewhat move. Now that they move at the pace of a zombie, I don't know exactly what they're going to do. And the whole build consisted of Adam Cole beating Jeff Hardy and the Young Bucks looking at them. Then the Young Bucks going, hey Hardy Boys, we want to take you on in a match. And then the next week, the Hardy Boys going like, you Young Bucks, you want to be like us so much, but you know what? You're just like the Hardly Boys. And we'll show you at Double or Nothing. Now, mind you, there's still an episode of Dynamite and Rampage to be filmed before Double or Nothing, but that's been the build so far. So, woo, excitement there. I'm hoping a ring just breaks and we need to cut this match just to save time on the pay-per-view, but the Young Bucks should beat the Hardys, so I'm hoping the Young Bucks do beat the Hardys. And that's coming from a guy who does not like the Young Bucks. And pretty much the only other match that people really care about is this world title match between Hangman Adam Page and CM Punk. CM Punk got himself a world title match just because he's been beating tag team guys. He's a singles guy. He should be beating tag team guys. But apparently if you beat tag team guys in like a certain way and you do the discount double check thing that Aaron Rodgers does, like so many times, apparently AEW has to give you a world title shot. So that's how he got it. And to play with Hangman Adam Page's head, CM Punk did the buckshot lariat to a guy. And, because nobody else does a flip over the top rope and a clothesline, because that is such an original move. But then, Adam Page, to one-up CM Punk, did the most brutal-looking GTS that, ever existed. Other than the inventor of the GTS, Kenta. But CM Punk had never done one that looked that good, but for some reason, CM Punk's like, I'm in his head now. Here's the thing. CM Punk's probably going to win. The only way he's not going to is if Kenny Omega comes back, causes some type of shenanigans, and he loses just so CM Punk can win the title at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Because AEW's whole mission statement is, We're in Chicago. We need to keep them cheering the entire time. And other than that, the only match that people are really looking forward to is the final of who's going to get the chance to wear Owen Hart's cup for a year. Adam Cole's already made it to the finals, and he's going to take on either Samoa Joe or Kyle O'Reilly. Most likely it's going to be Samoa Joe, so we're going to get the NXT Black and Gold Wet Dream match we've always wanted. But you know what's going to happen. That big Satnam Singh's going to come down, attack Joe, and Adam Cole's going to win. The only way that's not going to happen is if that happens during the Joe O'Reilly match. And then guess what? We'll have another match added to Double or Nothing when Satnam Singh takes on Samoa Joe. And then we'll get O'Reilly versus Cole for the 18th time in the last 3 years. So, I don't know. I guess we win either way with that one, right? But, you know what I just realized? Is, all the matches that people really care about have former WWE guys, except for the MJF Wardlow match. Pretty crazy. Because that Anarchy in the Arena match has Danielson, Jericho, and Jon Moxley. Should have been called Anarchy, or Arena Anarchy instead of Anarchy in the Arena, but whatever. Because Jon Moxley wouldn't do Stadium Stampede, so apparently to trick him, we just have to rename the match but have the same rules. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I know you guys don't care about any of these matches, but if you do, go ahead, leave it in the comments, and we'll talk about it next time. But this has been your boy Raphael with J Knows Wrestling. I'm super excited. Double or Nothing is on Memorial Day weekend, so I have an excuse to be drunk.
All right, so let's get into some Raw takes from this week. Raw takes are where I give you the rest of my thoughts on Monday Night Raw. The Judgment Day, they're a fun faction. I've begun to enjoy them, but Edge just talks too fucking much for me. Like, he takes me past the point of paying attention, and I go, all right, I'm tuning out. I can't, like, that's too much. Less is more from a faction that's kind of cynical and dark. Edge talks me into boredom, which is a problem because I like Edge. And all these little teases that he's doing, they're silly. We're going to have to get some action. He's been posting pictures of like Bayley, Corey Graves, a bunch of different people. He's posting all over social media. Ciampa, Liv Morgan, Finn Balor, AJ Styles. He's teasing all this. But WWE can't take too long with this situation. You're gonna lose interest. WWE, the casual fans, their fucking attention span is very short. These teases, they're taking too long. If we don't get a fourth member of Judgment Day by Hell in the Cell, I think they've kind of missed the mark on this one. How long can the Judgment Day just be basically bullies to Liv, AJ, and Finn Balor? Rhea Ripley was already capable of beating up Liv Morgan before she joined the Judgment Day. So what has she really gained by joining? Damian Priest was United States champion for almost 6 months prior to being in the Judgment Day. So what has Edge really done for him? At a certain point, this group has to move forward, and you have to accelerate this quickly. I know it seems like, oh man, you got to be patient. Not with something like this. This needs to build steam quickly, or else casual fans, we get bored. We have to see a fourth member of the Judgment Day, I'd say by Hell in the Cell. They can't keep teasing. Like they just can't keep teasing. Where was Theory? There was no Theory on Monday Night Raw. And there's nothing like a wrestling television show that features almost no singles champions, right?
True.
Bianca Belair sitting on the sideline watching a match. Theory, MIA. Roman is still delegated to SmackDown. I don't care if we say the brand split's over. His ass ain't traveling back and forth right now. You can tell. Zero mention of the 24/7 title this week. Like, titles at this point in time seem to be more of a curse than a gift. It doesn't make sense to me. This right now for WWE with the unified World Championship on SmackDown, this is the prime opportunity for WWE to feature Theory, main eventing or co-main eventing every Monday Night Raw. There's a plethora of talent you could put him in the ring with. Just fun main events. They don't even have to make sense. Just have an open challenge on the United States Championship and have Theory defend the belt every week. And what you'll build is you'll start to build some allure behind that title while also building this young star that supposedly Vince McMahon's behind. But what it looks like to me is the minute you get a belt in WWE, be it the women's championships, be it the United States Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, you just kind of get left off the show. It's like, oh, now you're champion. You can't be on TV or you can't be wrestling during the week. Let these people wrestle. It doesn't make sense. Oh, man. Bobby Lashley continues to fumble the ball when it comes to proving he can handle being a main event player. And I'm sorry, like, I want to like Bobby Lashley, but he can't put together a promo to save his life. And then they make matters worse. They're putting him up against MVP, who's extremely talented on a microphone and extremely quick-witted. And so it shows the glare. Like, I'd rather just have him and Omos talk to each other, which would be like kind of an incoherent mess, but let them do it. And then what the fuck was the Almighty Challenge?
I have no idea.
So they built up the Almighty Challenge, which ends up just being a match that puts Bobby at a disadvantage. And it's to choose what the stipulation is for. How is that an almighty challenge? To me, that's just what WWE does on a weekly basis. I don't know what kind of. I don't know what the gimmick is going to be for that match. I can't even think. I mean, do they do a second Hell in the Cell?
I have no idea. Bobby
Lashley obviously needs someone talking for him. And there's nothing wrong with that because he's got the look, he can wrestle. Everything about Bobby screams superstar, except when he gets a microphone, he just kind of mumbles around and says things and gets me confused. Like, I thought he was fighting Omos, and then he switches and he's fighting MVP, and it's like the way he jumbles up his sentences. Bobby Lashley just needs to slow down.
Who do you think that they could get to speak for him?
There's 1,000 people you could get to speak for him. I mean, you could anybody. There's 1 million managers that are available in the wrestling industry that you could have talk for Bobby Lashley. But honestly, I just really think he needs to slow down. I'm still confused. I don't know who this program is putting over because it looks to me like it's really just exposing the flaws in both of these wrestlers. It's showing that Omos has almost zero ability to sell in a match, and it's showing that like Bobby Lashley still can't handle a microphone.
Yeah.
All right. So WWE fucking panicked when it came to the women's division again, which I hate. I was so excited, and I really thought we were going to get Asuka and Bianca Belair in a fresh program that could finally push Bianca forward. Instead, what do we get? It feels like Bianca Belair is the third wheel to an Asuka and Becky Lynch feud. Becky cast an extremely big shadow on the ring. She's a star. She commands attention. The fucking glasses, the outfits, and it's not a bad thing. It's great. But when you're trying to build up Bianca, you almost have to get Bianca as far away from Becky just for a little bit. Right now, this feels more about Becky Lynch than it does about Bianca Belair. It feels like this is becoming a story of Becky's journey to get back into the title picture and less about, Bianca Belair is going to be a dominant champion. Asuka and Becky Lynch have extremely good chemistry in the ring. I would be fine if right now you just let that be a thing and found something else for Bianca to do. I honestly thought the Sonya Deville and Bianca Belair thing was going to last a little longer and probably should have. Let Bianca build up some momentum. Asuka and Becky, they've put on 2 great main events on Monday Night Raw, but they felt a little deja vu-ish. Like
we saw it last week.
Like, yeah, like if every Monday night we're just going to end the show with that, what... You had such a epic ending with the Green Mist and that win and Asuka surprising Becky to then turn around the next week and panic and go, okay, Becky's got to get back over.
Yeah.
It took away all of the surprise and all of the kind of momentum that it gave Asuka. In some roundabout ass way now, we're going to have a triple threat match, which I fucking feared from the very beginning. We're getting a triple threat match, and it's a triple threat match involving Bianca Belair, who's basically been sitting in an office chair for the last 2 weeks. That's been her participation on Monday Night Raw. Is sitting on the sidelines watching the main event. It's so back-asswards. Sometimes the WWE's booking, it's like they get so close to getting it right, and they panic and they go, we gotta get Becky back in there. My last take for the week here is, and this isn't even really gonna just pertain to Monday Night Raw, it kind of pertains to both shows, but the USA Network at this point, they've got to be beginning to get just a little bit upset with WWE, because I don't know about you, but I feel like there's an extreme difference right now in the excitement of the two shows. SmackDown feels like the A show and Raw feels like a run-on sentence. Raw feels like this long cohesion of just we got good superstars. We're trying to build up some new stories, but we don't have anything super engaging right now to keep people involved for 3 fucking hours. 3 hours.
Yeah.
Which I'm convinced in that 3 hours, 1 hour is literally just recapping what happened in the other 2 hours.
I agree.
Which we don't necessarily need that. Let's get 2 hours. Let's tighten Raw up to 2 hours. Get rid of the recaps. The recaps are great before the pay-per-views, but we don't need them every week. Man, it just...
They also do it before every match, I feel.
That's what I'm saying. It's
if you want to do one in the beginning...
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do one
better
for the main event, that's fine. But to recap, it's like they almost are acting like people don't watch the show anymore. And you can't constantly be catering to the newest audience. That doesn't make sense. SmackDown has gotten a ton of heat off of Raw's biggest stars, right? RKBro. They came over, dropped the titles on SmackDown. There's been a lot of Raw talent go over to SmackDown and do things. But it hasn't felt like SmackDown's really reciprocated that talent back to Monday Night Raw. Sami Zayn was on Monday Night Raw, but he was only there to take the pin so that the Usos didn't have to take the pin. The brand split, I get it. It's seemingly over. But if it's over, USA Network's got to be yeah, it's over, but it's not looking like this is going to be a fair trade. It's looking like Fox is keeping Roman Reigns and he's going to run SmackDown and just stay over there. And we get the Usos every week, which is great. Usos are good, but they're not a focal point that make me go, I have to watch Monday Night Raw. Post Hell in a Cell, WWE is going to have to do something, either add a major title to Monday Night Raw. They got to do something that has a big fight feel attraction to it. And it can't just be Cody Rhodes. We can't have these fucking timers that count down to Cody Rhodes. Because, it feels like they're hey, don't go anywhere. Cody will be here tonight at some point. We're going to put a timer up so you know you need to watch the first hour of Raw so that you can make it to Cody Rhodes. Raw has a ton of B-plus segments. They're not bad. It's just none of them are overwhelmingly great right now. And so it's hard to sit through 3 hours of B-plus entertainment. When you look at Raw's biggest feuds, it's Cody and Rollins 3. That was great when it was Cody and Rollins 1, but now we're going on to 3 and we're it's the same song and dance. Seth just keeps coming out and fucking interfering in Cody's matches. We got something's got to give. We got to let's build some momentum there. Omos and Lashley, I already talked about that. That's a fucking train wreck. Becky and Asuka, that's been the best thing on Monday Night Raw. But you've got your world champions sitting on the side and watching that. And then you got the Judgment Day, who I've said Edge talks too much. Let's get them in the ring and get them active. And then you sprinkle in little bits of the Usos and RK-Bro, which has been good, but they save all the good shit for SmackDown. They come over and it basically feels like Monday Night Raw is a promo for what's going to happen on SmackDown. And I can't imagine that USA is oh, I love this. This is how I envisioned this fucking partnership going here. None of that screams, I can't miss Monday Night Raw. And I don't like that because I was high on Raw pre-WrestleMania, but it's starting to feel, I'm getting that feeling back where I go if I'm a little late to watch Monday Night Raw, I can kind of pick up and keep going. They'll show me everything I need to know next week. Raw just doesn't have me feeling, it doesn't have that excitement right now. And I think, like, I get it. They're building up stories on Raw, but sometimes you have to accelerate certain things. You can't have, Raw feels like everybody's starting from the starting line right now. And they're going to need a couple things to kind of get active and get exciting sooner rather than later. All right, let's get into this week's Raw Power Rankings. This may be the last week that we do a separate Power Rankings from Raw and SmackDown because it looks like the brand split may possibly be over. Who knows? But we'll still go up the top 10 for this week. So at number 10 this week, I have Asuka. It feels like, and I have her trending, I believe, I have her trending upwards, but it does feel like that WWE doesn't have the confidence to let her and Bianca host a main event together. And for that, she slides to number 10 this week. At number 9, I have Alexa Bliss. And Alexa's trending upward for me. Alexa's climbing the ladder fast. I'm just waiting to see what program she kind of settles into. Right now, she's doing the Sonya Deville thing and just kind of random matches to get back, I'm sure, just get back in rhythm. But before you know it, she'll be in something that's meaningful. And I like the new character. I like the hybrid. I like the hybrid of the evil and the goddess. It's kind of like, it looks to me like this is more like who Alexa Bliss might really kind of be. Like pop punk, a little dark, a little sinister. It looks like she's enjoying it. I know I saw something about she had to call the cops. She had a stalker or something.
Ew, really?
Crazy shit going on, man. Crazy shit.
Yeah, that's so serious.
At number 8, I got Theory. And Theory's trending downward for me. He should be higher up on this list as United States champion, but right now, man, WWE has the curse of the title. If you have a title, you seemingly disappear or you sit on the sidelines. And if they don't get him doing something quickly, he's going to fall off my list entirely. And it's fucking crazy that I know on my SmackDown list, Ricochet was not on the list, and to not have Theory on the Raw list at top 10, it's just insane. But there's a lot of other people who I feel like, one, Bobby Lashley, that could easily fill into that spot. Mm-hmm. Number 7, I have Edge. Edge would be much higher, but as I said earlier in the show, Edge talks too much. He really does. He just talks too much. And I'm going to have to figure out, what is the real purpose of the Judgment Day? Is it really just to terrorize AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan? Are they just a bunch of bullies? I need to see more. I need to see more movement, and they need to get the ball rolling on that. At number 6, I have Kevin Owens. Man, if WWE appreciated Kevin Owens half as much as they should, just half as much as they should appreciate him, he'd be number 1 on the list. They give no clarity, they just kind of stick him in the middle of the show and he still fucking shines. He's still he nails every segment he's a part of. I don't appreciate this week, the office chair thing. WWE somehow they get these fads, and right now the fad is to sit people in an office chair by the announce table. But this week we don't give Kevin Owens a microphone. What are we doing? Kevin Owens should always have a microphone. Kevin Owens is better on a microphone than all of the announcers put together.
That's very true.
Number 5, I have Becky Lynch. She just hangs around on my list. Originally, when I put this list together before Monday Night Raw, she was 9 or 10. All of a sudden, she beats Asuka and she inserts herself into a triple threat match. WWE they fucking know about Becky's star power. It's too bright. I guess it's just too bright not to be in a title picture. And she's trending upward. She's trending back to the top of this list where, 2 months ago, she was probably number 1. And it looked like, seemingly coming out of WrestleMania, she'd cool off. Man, they're going to keep her around. At number 4, I have Seth Rollins. Trending downward for me.
No.
Seth Rollins is becoming, I said it earlier, a bit of a one-trick pony, right? It's just come out and interrupt Cody's matches. It's getting a little bit stale. We got to get Seth back in the ring. Get him some wins. He needs some W's. I don't foresee him winning at Hell in the Cell, So that's going to be 3 straight losses. And then you've got a little bit of an uphill mountain to climb to re-energize Seth Rollins, get him kind of back onto that swag that he has. Right now, you just, I don't know, one-trick pony. Number 3, Bianca Belair. You become champ and you sit on the bench in WWE. That's what it feels like. I mean, all of a sudden, Bianca's sitting on the side now, sitting by the announce table, week after week, not a part of the main event. I mean, I guess you could say part of the main event, but not really featured in the main event. She's the third wheel to Asuka and Becky Lynch. Man, I mean, she's trending downward for me. I thought we were going to get this epic title run of Bianca Belair where they just made her look strong, and they're halting momentum here. She came out, she beat Sonya Deville. We should have had challengers just lined up. Doudrop, Nikki ASH, Naomi. I know they wanted to do Naomi, but they should have just lined these people up and had her knock them down and really build up. I mean, she needs, I hate to say it, she needs kind of the same treatment that Jade Cargill. She needs that same momentum, the big win streak, and just let her rattle off secondary talent, third talent, NXT talent. Just let Bianca rattle off a bunch of wins and make her feel like a big champion. Then if you want to throw Becky back in there, it just makes that fight feel even more epic.
Yeah.
At number 2, I have Riddle. Without RKBro, the ball is his to run with. It's time for Riddle to either put up or shut up, right? How will he fare in a program with Roman Reigns by himself? We're going to find out quickly. And I think he gets the job done. I really do. I think he'll have no problem standing toe-to-toe and looking like a credible opponent for Roman Reigns. And I think that he's trending upward.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for my number 1, which is Cody Rhodes, I mean, still the most important piece on Monday Night Raw, which is crazy because pre-WrestleMania, we didn't even know Cody was going to be a part of Monday Night Raw. And so still the most important piece of Monday Night Raw. Until Cody loses a match, he won't be dethroned until his momentum is stopped. And it looks like he's on this epic journey that, I mean, is he headed for a clash with Roman Reigns eventually? I feel like he is. And I think that unless The Rock signs on for WrestleMania next year, Cody Roman is a big match at WrestleMania next year. Yeah. They should save that. If they're not confident that The Rock is coming back, that's the match to make, is Cody versus Roman. So that's my top 10 Raw Power Rankings. Starting next week, we may just go to one top 10 list, top 15 list. I'll have to decide. And we'll run it on both shows.
All right.
But make sure to tune in this Sunday for the Casual Smack show, which is the Casual Wrestling Community YouTube page official SmackDown Hot Take Show. It's basically this show, but we just talk about SmackDown. Also, look out. I have a tier maker video on YouTube where I rank the gods of professional wrestling. Check that out. Currently working on my bracket battle video with match gimmicks. Gonna vote on the best gimmick style match in pro wrestling. But this has been another episode of the Raw Take Show. As always, I am Nerdy D. That is Level Up Lauren. And we can ring the final bell.
Ding, 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 ding.
Step in the ring, if you ready, let's go. Hey, Casual Wrestling Community Show. You already know, talking WWE. Keep it rolling and hosted by Notorious Nerdy D. Dope show that you gon' find. Tune in cause it's online. Hit 'em with a figure 4 leg lock, power driver or clothesline. We bringing that heat like for show, but you should already know. The